So, I suppose I'll jump straight in. I have come to talk about unification of self, which is a topic that I see everywhere. Everywhere. Shadow work, inner child work, the feminine, the masculine, the balancing that you have to do in order for your inner child to actually thrive, because we know divine feminine, divine masculine together in balance, happy, healthy, powerful inner child, i.e. happy heart, happy people, happy civilizations. Ideally. Now, because of my own experience, so for one thing, let's begin somewhere a bit further back. And I should probably also introduce myself. My name's Beatrice. Nice to meet you, whoever's watching this. Beatrice Christine, in fact. And then I have a family name which is irrelevant, not because my family is irrelevant, but because, for one thing, it's a bit of a stumble to get out. Tyra, which, you know, and then Thera. It's not that important. I do not believe you only need one name, technically, and the resonance will ping with your souls up and you will get a lot of information just through that. And I am, shall we say, a soul that has come in to guide my fellow brothers and sisters back to where you all belong, which is your heart, which is your own light, which is your own love light, your own divine essence. Through not me telling you what you should be doing, because I can't do that. I can't tell you what you should be doing, because the goal of all of this was never for you, any of you, to follow one construct. You were never meant to be anything other than the unique divine being that you are, rather than following like a prescription of this is what it's like when you are, say, a spiritual person, whatever that means. Like that lost meaning. I don't know when it did, to me at least. But with each label, you get like a set of programs and settings, and you're meant to follow them. You're not meant to be doing that. That's not really creator's purpose at all. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't expand. That doesn't do anything. It's like having a dish with the same ingredients over and over and over. That's not possible. So, coming back to my original point, I'm here to guide you back to the truth of who you are, to the truth of your own beautiful, unique heart, to your own light, to remind you of the fact that you are very much a powerful being. You are very much a beautiful divine spark. You. Just you. You are love. It's where you come from. That's what it's always about. It's never about anything other than love. Everything comes from that. Whether that be quote unquote good or quote unquote bad, it's always about love. And the fact that so many have just forgotten that they are that, and then they slipped over eons and eons and eons. You slipped into mind over and over and over, and then you were kind of stuck. You got really stuck in this reincarnation cycle over and over and over. Obviously, all as per divine design. That's not what I'm questioning at all. Why would I? But that's kind of, it's done now. We're finished. It's time to go back. It's time to remember and learn again to fall into your heart space and stay there, and then live and create and receive and give through your heart and nothing but, and have your mind there like a garden shed. It has all the tools that your heart needs, a toolbox in support of your heart, not to continue to be the master of you, the master of your heart, because your mind is incredibly limited. Your mind is like a storage system. Your mind is like a database. Like, my team are a little bit, they're like, yeah, we can use this one for simplicity purposes, I suppose. Thank you. But your mind is like one of those old PCs which has a lot of information stored. You already come in with a lot of information anyway. You've got a lot of programs and settings. When you come in, you're born into this particular body, in this particular, I like to call it instrument. I know some people call it avatar, or for one thing, I only now can connect the word avatar with the movie, because I didn't wake up until, well, I came in years ago, but I woke up 2019 without knowing that that is what it was. Oh, let's make it 2020, really. And now I can only think about the movie Avatar, which, by the way, was beautiful and not too badly done, I believe. Anyway, or vessel, for me, instrument, because I love that word, because it's what it does. It creates. It's like an instrument, like a music instrument, like a violin. Oh, okay. Anyway, but you when you came into your, whatever you call it, by the way, I'm not also dictating your language. You have your own unique way of speaking and language, which I'll get to. There's so much to talk about, and I'm very excited to talk about all those things, but for the sake of not making this too long, I'll try and just go back. But you can look at this as a sort of introduction to me, and it will probably change and evolve anyway, because as per usual, you start something that you've wanted to do for a while, you're very much pressed to do this, but it's still the first video, so that's different. So you came in here and you already had a set, you already had a bit of a program with everything you needed to overcome as a soul when you came in, dealing with everyone's core woundings in the first place. That's one. And then obviously, as you're born, first trauma, and then you have ancestral trauma, and then you've got all the trauma, you've got all the baggage, and you've past life trauma. It's just you were so full and loaded with material already that your own spark, your own love, your own light, your own heart, it never went anywhere. It was just so buried, and still is, underneath layers and layers and layers of trauma and wounding and pain, suffering, torture, violence. Just not what source is, not what creator is, not what the divine cosmic mother is. So you have all of that, and through growing up, you gathered material. Excuse me, just checking. You gathered even more material that each time your surroundings as you grow up as a child, in one way or another, sometimes to really severe degrees, and trauma is still being added though. Distortion is still being added. It's just some go through rather horrendous experiences, but not to diminish any of them. It's not about which one is more important. That's never the case anyway, because trauma is trauma and it impacts everyone. Always. There isn't such a thing as you experiencing something, just it never affects anyone. Because you all connected every single moment of your existence. Every single moment. Everything you feel, every emotion, which is just a spark of energy which goes through, which has content information, goes up into the cloud. We do Apple speak now. Into the cloud, into the quantum field, up. And there it gathers and it creates and accumulates, and obviously it goes down again and it fuels you, which is then, it is your thoughts, it is your belief systems, your own wounding and distortion, but it also is everybody else's, because you are never separate. You think it because you stopped being in your heart. You started living in your mind because you have unlearned through growing up how to be in your heart. And you just fled into mind because you have learned that what you as a consciousness, as a soul, as a love being, know to be the actual truth. Well, here is not working like that. So you find ways to actually then receive that which you know is actually innately a birthright and is the actual truth of existence, of creator, of source. And that's love. Always, never has been anything other than that. So you take on the distortions around you for your parents, which have done the same. This is not about blaming anyone around you. Everyone's a part of this anyway. Everyone's agreed, yeah, we're gonna do those cycles and cycles of descension. We're gonna have an ascension one later, cool. To quote my best friend, I love her when she does that. Cool. But for you to have those experiences and fast track your learning as a soul and your aging and your maturity process as a soul, shall we say, and therefore provide creator with expansion and expand and expand, and you will always go back to source. You'll always go back to the absolute unconditional love. Always. So you've taken all that on and you created something that is not you, because you are not mind. Your mind, full cycle back now, is that tool shed I was talking about, which has all the data it has acquired through past experiences. And this is just the mental body, this is just the mind. Because if I go into everything, we'll sit here for days. most probably for days. So never mind that. But it is essential to understand that when I talk about unification of yourself, talking about coming into oneness, putting the past and it's all in one thing anyway, if we want to be really precise. There isn't past, there isn't future either, but at the same time there are. Not to speak about past lives or even the other dimensions, none of that right now. But you bring together your higher self, your lower self, here in your heart. This is where your alchemy happens. This is where your unification happens. This is where you find your own true, authentic, unique, divine essence. This is where you are. And it's such a beautiful thing and highly misunderstood at times. Not everyone. There's so many beautiful, beautiful beings and people who are just doing magical work. So By the way, side note, I am not claiming. How do I phrase that best for everyone? I shan't be claiming this is me speaking the ultimate truth. I do not have the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth lies with Source, not me. However, I've gone through the last 3 years through rather for me horrendous experiences for my emotional body, for my mental body, but that's the mind, that's the AI part. So soul versus mind is a bit of a thing, but never mind, pun not intended, different topic. But I've gone through and experienced, because of my senses opening more and more and more, and I'm not talking just about Claire's, it's senses that I've never heard anyone really talk about as of yet, that allow me to get a very, very different insight. And my absolute fire that I feel is for me to be able to provide you with help, with guidance, with support, because I know when I went through all of this back then, I had no idea about anything. I still don't, because my access is very limited at the moment and I have to unlock things because of the path I've chosen. But excuse me, I need to okay. I have experienced that I truly wish and desire to be of absolute, pure, divine assistance and guidance and support and be empowerment for you, for your heart, to hopefully maybe not go through, like have a bit of a shorter version so you can avoid so you're not on your own. You're not meant to be on your own. You're never on your own, but it feels like you're on your own a lot of the time. But so you have some guidance, so you're not in the dark like I was. Because that feeling of breaking through as a consciousness and as a soul, and with your heart breaking through and your mind and everything that you've, like your mental body going, wait, what? No, I'm not in control. What is happening? No, I don't like this. It's quite the battle. And it gives you this incredible feeling of loneliness, and that's what I wish for you to not experience. At least have like a tiny bit of support. That is one of my main goals when it comes to sharing my experience and hopefully giving you the information I have acquired through, well, I suppose wisdom, because it's lived. It's not just information, it's not just something I read and then not even the activating kind of information, but it's what I wanted to do, so that you're not completely on your own and you don't feel completely lost and absolutely terrified. Because I remember that I had no one really to talk to, no one would understand the experiences, because no one really can, because you are unique. You're unique, beautiful, divine construct, a beautiful being of light, of love, of heart. Honk on that one. And therefore you are unique. Not trying to bring any memes into this space, but Snowflake, that is my goal, to be there to the capacity that I was meant to, and that I was sent for, and that I am continuously evolving into more, so that I can really be here of service to you, so that you can remember all the power you hold in your heart, your absolute heart power that you have, and then radiate that out just by existing and being in a pure state of love, self-love, true self-love, true powerful self-love. And then that is gonna just very naturally, organically, you don't have to go out and like go on a mission and convince anyone. No, what you need to do, because again, there isn't such a thing as you are in isolation. What you need to do is do your inner work, is your unification work. So unification. What does it mean? Unification. Higher self, lower self. All in your heart. You alchemize, you unify. Your feminine, your masculine. You bring into balance within each other. You bring it into divine union within yourself. Left, feminine. Right, masculine. And within you, your pillar is where they will continuously, where they will continuously merge. This is where the merging points are, every single time. And every time you do, whenever you evolve, whenever you release the trauma of, say, the mother wound, which is your feminine, heal the distorted feminine within yourself, you release that, and by releasing that, it's the same concept with light language, by the way. You receive light, you make more space for light, and the moment light hits darkness, it goes poosh, and it comes up, and it's released. But you make more space for light, and you can hold that, but it does show you your density. That is a gift, by the way, which I say, knowing that I don't like every experience. There's a lot of experiences where I thought, I just wanna go, I wanna leave. I freaking, not Gaia, by the way. I always make a point to, there's a very big difference for me between the planet and all the beauty on it, like flora, fauna, all everywhere, and the world that has been constructed on it, and the mind-driven distortion and constructions on it. Like, and again, mind, not the kind that is in support of your heart, because talk about power couple, but mind as in clinical, robotical, reptilian, not to get into that territory either. Demonizing them, by the way, doesn't help either. But that's weakening for you. But that's a different story. Where was I? Just a robotical, reptilian-driven, detached from heart existence. That kind of world. And every now and then, because again, I'm still on this journey, so I can continuously come back and be like, okay, I have that wisdom stored, excellent, now I can apply that, be better of service, and create from more heart space, from an ever opening heart, so your sacred fires can burn like infinitely. Okay, anyways, don't have to love every experience, right? You don't have to love every experience. You can, if you wish to, apply that particular practice. Depends on how you roll as a being, really. If that's something where you can alchemize genuinely and you don't just gloss over, because I've been there, done that as well. I've done a lot of I've applied a lot of different practices very fast, because that's how I was built. So, just every time you release something, every time you get more light in, every time, you will get more density, because there will be light, or darkness, dark to light. Let's do the other way around. And rather than struggling even more than you have to, the more you are in your heart, the more you can alchemize it, the more you can look at it with grace and with the love you hold for everything, including yourself. And the easier it gets to just look at it and go, oh my god, wow, that is such a horrendous insert here, really. This is such a horrendous thing. And then you look at that and you look at yourself as a little child and go, right, well, what would you do with that child? You hold that child. You're there for that child. You don't you just nurture and you nourish yourself. Density. Rather than fearing it and going into denial and going into rejection. Every time you do that, you deny yourself love. Every time. And that's not what you deserve. That's not what actually helps. What actually always will be the one thing, the one truth, the one ultimate. You hear everyone talking about this in different ways, because it's very much true, is that love, true, powerful, divine, the unconditional love you hold, it's not gone anywhere, by the way. Even when you feel like it, it's just there, it's waiting. It's there. Is the absolute truth. It heals, it transmutes, it alchemizes, it nourishes, it nurtures, it strengthens you infinitely. And it therefore, through that empowerment, also gives you that protection that you feel you might need, which is a different story altogether as well. But the more you unify, and the unification process itself can be incredibly ugly. Also, let me check how. Half an hour. Wow, it's fast. But sheesh. But this might have been a good one to start with. I'll keep going anyways, because I'm gonna roll. Gonna keep rolling. And the unification process has a lot of different aspects to it. It's vast. Really, it's a beautiful process of coming back to the truth of your own authentic, unique God spark. That I'm just, it's one of the most beautiful things to me when every being has their unique, beautiful blueprint. Their heart is just such a gift. But you'll clash. You will clash a lot, because your unification process means that a lot of you are not going to play by the rules that have already been out here established. That's the good old cultural norms, paradigms, belief systems, settings, all very much mind, because they're not very heart-based. They're not very tolerant. They're not very free. They're not they're not love really. At least this is for me, is my own unique expression. For me, the way everything has been played out in the very, very, very grand scheme of things is love, in the sense that every single being is providing the maturity for each other to find and get more of into your own light. Grand scheme of things. But if we go a bit smaller, judgment of each other, abuse, living by rules that are impossible to live by, most of them, because you can't apply them to each and every single being. That's impossible. Rules on what makes you worthy, rules on what makes you lovable, rules on what makes you deserving, rules on what makes you valuable. All those things, by the way, you are innately, inherently, you're innately worthy, inherently worthy, valuable, and deserving to receive all the reabundance. Birthright. Gonna use that word because it's very accurate. It's your birthright. And that is, to me, not love. Not in my expression. There's plenty of others that cover different topics in different sectors, so luckily, thank you everybody, that is not something I have to do. It's not what I came for. Not my collective. So you'll clash, and it can be very hard, because you lose everything you shed, because the things that you've acquired throughout your life through a self that is not your heart, your soul, your innate self, they have to go. They will leave. And you will look at some things, and the more you discover yourself, the more you come into your unified self, into your heart, into the unconditional love, the more you will just go, what? Why is this? But this doesn't feel right. How does this make sense? Why would you do it like this? I don't fit in this anymore. What's wrong with me? Why can't I do it like them? It doesn't feel right. And you will start, the more you actually get into yourself, you will open up your senses way past your clairs, and you will feel how that construct, that matrix, you will see through that a lot more, and you will realize that I don't want to live like that. It doesn't work anymore. I don't get it. That expression of, say, using the feminine, women, and because I'm female, so shout out to all the divine masculines and males out there, by the way. This is not how I express my feminine. This is not how I express. This is not in accordance with my core, with my heart. I don't know what to do. It's intimidating. Not everyone, right? But if you get it initially, you'll deal with things differently, and then your ego, good old ego, which is gonna try and make you cower and go back, kind of lure you back in, like, come back to here, it's nice and easy. Remember, we know this process, we know how to operate in this, we have all the paradigms ready for you on a silver plate. Here, you just have to follow it. right here. But that's the part where you, out of love towards yourself, really have to not go back, and really have to push forward, and really keep going and go, okay, well, this friend probably is gonna drop away. One of those typical, I've seen that one again today. 10 signs of spiritual awakening. And the good old, well, you don't resonate with people anymore, so they're gonna fall away. Now, that's easier said than done for some. And for some it's like, well, okay, I'm out, I'll leave. But it's harsh, because it means you have to be brave and courageous, and you gotta muster up like that beautiful divine masculine energy within yourself. Not to say that the divine feminine doesn't either, it's just a different expression, another topic. But you have to muster that for yourself, and trust the fact that your heart would never, ever, ever lead you down a path that is in any way, shape or form truly detrimental. It's just a case of, it will clash potentially with norms that have already been set. If your soul really, your heart, your soul go, well, I'm gonna leave this particular partnership, I'm gonna leave this particular, let's use the typical sections in life, partnership, job, friendship, circle, club membership, who knows, diet, which is another great topic to talk about, but again, then it clashes. It's gonna go, well, that's not the right thing to do, that's a horrible thing to do, why would you leave your job, it doesn't make any sense, why would you do that, you've got all the stability, all the money coming in, you have this and this and that and that, or you can't leave this partnership because you've already you've got a house together, you've got a flat together, you've got a dog together, you've got a guinea pig together, or children, and your mind has the settings of, you can't do that, it's morally corrupt, ethically a horrible thing to do. If you were to leave your job, your family, or your partnership, doesn't have to be with kids. However, your mind has absolutely no clue about your soul's contracts, your soul's evolution, your soul's journey, your soul's path, and how all of that, every single moment, actually is intricately involved and is affecting, say, your partners, or what your partner is meant to gain from this. And then we could also talk about how not following your heart and your soul is actually handing down more, how do I phrase that? Hands down even more kind of like this accumulation of self-rejection, and that's gonna be handed down if you have kids then, for example, because if you don't follow your heart's calling, you abandon yourself, you reject yourself, whether you actually are fully aware of that or not. Although there will be times where you're really miserable. Why is that? You want to leave? You're not leaving. Why are you not leaving? And I'm not saying this lightly either. I've had, anyway. But you'll hand that down, you'll hand that over almost, and it's not going anywhere. It's just gonna be imprinted then onto your next generation. That kind of abandoning yourself in that particular way. energetically, it just stays. The very, very easily spotted surface level version of that is the scenario of if there's parents and you grew up with a mother or a father or that are just, you can, it's very obvious. For one thing, children, super intuitive, all the gods spark, everything there for the first developmental stage. So about 6-7 years, and then everything kind of shuts down and we're fully in parent mode almost, and the rest of the distortion. But you might remember, if you've had that situation as a child growing up, and you could tell your parents would have been way happier if they hadn't been together. And you observed that, and boom, you most probably took patterns of that away with you without knowing, until you do. Then let you undo all of that and go back into your heart, into love of self. So the unification process, whilst it is a very powerful, beautiful thing, and shouldn't be used, by the way, as an excuse to become hateful, vengeful, arrogant, angry, as in projecting. If whatever you've experienced, you have a right to feel what you feel towards a person. But what I'm talking about is to then twist it into, now I have a right to go and lash out, to go and at the world now, be just angry, continuously angry. I'm not talking about demonizing anger. Just, anger has a very powerful message in it. Feel that, take that wisdom, listen to it, but don't let it be something you hold on to out of fear of letting that go. Because letting that anger go after very often feels a bit scary, because anger, taking away anger per se as the very demonized emotion that it's been made out to be, and it's obvious why if we look at holding on to it and then it plays out. Holding on to it in a way you're not meant to. Like, there's different ways of holding on to anger, which is again another topic. But taking that away, it's very intense. It's a lot of energy. Anger is a very intense wave of energy, and for a brief moment in time, this kind of energy almost serves like a wall, like a very powerful kind of, oof, now I feel really strong. Finally, I don't feel vulnerable. It's like a warriorish illusion. Because anger, if you use it like that and you kind of keep holding on to it, because when it's gone, you're kind of naked again, and you have to find that strength from love more than anything. Grace and compassion, which is a process. It's just scary. That's all. I should probably stop talking. God, it's really long. Okay. Anything else about unification? Unification is such a wide, broad topic and subject that has so much in it, and I literally only just dipped into everything. I wonder if there's anything else. I'm not sure. Is there anything else other than that? That's a good point. I forgot. Thank you. All right. So the last point I want to make about unification is that that process per se, not only is it your own inner child that then finds that joy and happiness, that safety, that security, that state of unconditional pure love, but also when you are unified within yourself, as within so without. Some phrases, they just stick around for a reason. It ripples out, and the partner that you then come into union with, physical, because everything, ethical, energetical, and the very last one, and God, do I not have the patience for that process, trust me, is physical. But this then is going to bring in a partner that also has that very same process, well, their own unique unification process within, but it's like two inner children coming together in harmony. And that unification then, two unified beings coming together as one, creates, well, the Christ child in the end, really, but are going to create together this in this sacred union. They are creating an actual child, which is going to be of such incredible power. And when I speak of power, by the way, I only ever mean the truest power. True power of the heart. A true child, not that the other ones are plastic children, is not what I meant. A child of true love. True, pure, divine, unconditional love. Next generation. So, that's the bottom line. That is the bottom line, and I will leave it at that, because it's been a while. I hope you enjoyed spending 48 minutes with me, and I'm looking forward to the next one. This was very fun. It's obviously a process for me as well. I believe there is just so much, but either way, I will leave it at that. And also, I apologize because I'm not used to looking into a camera. I've done it for the very most important part, I suppose, but I'm not used to looking into a camera. So I'm like looking at myself, which it's a process, beautiful ones. So sound quality should be good. Hi. I will talk more about I'll talk a lot about whatever else there might be, whatever is the most important about my senses, what I can feel, because, by the way, that's the last thing I should probably mention. The unification process, one of the many senses I have opened is actually I have a very ethnophysical experience. So when I have to just imagine, say, eating something or doing something in particular, and I can feel the energy stream, the potential of that, well, because you're imagining it, so you're in the mental plane. You're doing it energetically, so it rips through. Oh no! Oh, I guess that's a goodbye to my dragon. Sad times. which means I can take that out. But I can feel those. I can feel basically every movement that I do with my body's one of them. So there you go. You feel that stream go, your meridians, everything. It streams through, similar to when you drink water. You can feel that, except it doesn't feel like water. It's energy. It's electricity, really. I can feel and sense within my system whether something is nourishing mainly for the feminine, my left, or the masculine, my right. And that is everything. That means food. That means any sort of activity, any sort of exercise, any movement, any emotional trauma. It very much is located in different places, so it's like a map, and I very much feel those things, which makes it easier to kind of mediate and do the unification process per se. Yeah, and a lot of other senses, but such as sound and speaking, and I thought I should mention that one. I'm sorry you had to witness my little dragon fall out, though. Right, okay. I'm really excited to go forward with this. And as I said, I have no idea about the format. Precious ones, I have no clue. I don't know if it's gonna stay that long. It's probably gonna be a case of sometimes it will be longer, sometimes it will be shorter, sometimes you just flow with everything, because I don't do things in any other way than very much the solar feminine ones on this journey, alongside my solar masculine. But anyway, I get it, I'll stop. I hope you got something out of this. And I would be really happy if I had you with me on this journey, as they say. And that shall be all. If it was a bit ranty, well, you might forgive me, but I was very excited. I still am. And well, it's time, I suppose. So, all the heartwarmers to all of you, and thank you for being here on this particular deconstruction, new construction type of path. And well, upwards and onwards. So until next time.